And we're live. Hey guys, Matt and Jeff here, and
What's going on, guys?
slightly different version of the Cashflow Go show. Adam, or randomly interesting, has his work party tonight, so we're unsupervised. So we decided we'd
unscripted.
yeah. So we figured we'd maybe mix up the location a little bit. I forgot to bring the new mic, so we're back on the old mic, so the audio may not be quite as good as it was last week, but we're still working on it.
We're working with the PA shop in London to
Yeah.
get some like high quality stuff.
So hopefully in the near future, we'll get that all
From
sorted out.
all those super chats, right?
Yeah.
$16 we made.
Yeah. So we just figured we'd kind of catch up with you guys. Jeff will be kind of peeking in on the comment section. It doesn't work quite the same way. It doesn't work quite as well when we don't have someone behind the camera. So we probably won't get a chance to answer quite as many questions, but jump in, ask your questions, and we'll do our best to get around to them. But otherwise, me and Jeff just figured we'd fill you guys in. So
you guys stay at home during this stupid weather in London. If you're watching from around the world, hopefully you have sun. But London,
yeah, the weather's actually really shitty. So that's why I'm kind of dressed down. I had to clean off my car and take out my
and I
laneway
booked
bit.
a showing appointment 45 minutes out of the city, which took 3 hours a day.
In Bothwell.
Wherever the hell that is.
Right?
No Tim Hortons. So.
Yeah, that in Canada, that's how we measure the size of the town, is whether it has a Tim Hortons or not.
I had a liquor store.
Yeah, which that's
well,
one step towards Tim
closes
Hortons.
at like 4:30.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that closes at 5, I'm sure. But we do appreciate you guys jumping in and watching this live stream. Smash that like button if you're enjoying it, and definitely feel free to share this on social media. Sharing is caring. But one thing we did earlier this week was we had the first Cashflow Go Kitchener-Waterloo meetup.
Yeah.
And so that went really well. We had a great turnout. I think there was probably about 10 of us there.
Yeah, better than we thought. And very high quality 10 people.
Yeah, actually some really fascinating people. A few of you guys that I've got to know via my YouTube channel in the comment section, so that was really awesome. Meeting you, Marco, in particular, because I definitely remember you in the comment section. We also had Matt Pichet, the fruitful investor, out, and our good buddy Sam Sador as well. So it was actually really awesome just hearing all these investors sharing tips and tricks and resources. And so one thing that was really interesting, I think it was Brian, I don't remember your last name, Brian, or no, Adam, sorry. Adam brought up that the changing bylaws in Kitchener, Waterloo, and the Cambridge and the Tri-City areas. And so it sounds like they're going to be embracing secondary dwellings, so those grandma suites. So that's very interesting. There was still a little bit of debate about whether they would work on townhouses or semi-detached properties, but they were going to share it on the Cashflow Go meetup group. So if you're not part of the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge Cashflow Go meetup group, definitely join it because that's where all the resources are. And same with, there's meetup groups now kind of all across Ontario,
and we
couple
always
in
say,
the US.
If there's one where there's no meetup group where you are, let me know and I'll set it up. I still got to set up a Barrie one.
Okay. And
we've been on a group frenzy this month.
And so I'm not sure if you set up Montreal or Ottawa, but I know that's one I keep getting DMs about. I keep telling them to DM you on Insta,
guys,
but
DM me. He's busy.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid the meetup group things. I got enough going on because earlier this week we started our Airbnb Facebook group, and so we're hoping to start kind of a monthly meetup related to Airbnb as well, just to get hosts out and we can learn best tips and tricks, best practices, all that great stuff as well. And and I also did set up the wholesale real estate Facebook group. So DM me on Instagram or message me on Facebook, and I can add you to that group. It's a private group where we're going to start sharing some of our wholesale opportunities, some of the pocket listings Jeff stumbles upon, and
we're going to give it to them for free.
For now,
get in.
Yeah, get in. Actually, only one person's DM'd me on Insta so far, so there's just 5 of us right now in the group. So very.
And then we get the cryptocurrency group.
Yeah, and so we still need to set up a meeting. I just need to book a date and time at Palisade, but we'll be going to Palisade and doing a broad introduction to cryptocurrency meetup group. I think that'll be really interesting. Should be great, regardless of kind of your skill set or your knowledge level on cryptocurrencies. So even if all you do is have $40 in Bitcoin that
I don't know what I'm at. 28.
It's been dropping. But it is a really interesting topic. I'm still very interested in blockchain, regardless of the fluctuations that's going on in the cryptocurrency market. So we are really looking forward to that. And I think there was something else too.
Well, somebody hit 6,000.
Oh yeah, I hit 6,000 subs. So thank you to every single one of you that did smash that subscribe button over the year and a half it's been on YouTube. really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and really excited to see kind of where we can take this in the future because as we've been talking about, we have a full-time cameraman now, and so that's Michael, but I think long-term it's going to be a familiar face if you've been a fan of my YouTube for a while. I think pretty soon Peter's going to be coming over, so that's very exciting. That's just kind of a little sneak peek of what's going to be happening, but otherwise, we also, what else was there? Oh, London on Fire is coming up, so I believe that's February 22nd. So join the London on Fire Facebook group if you're not part of that. As well, if you guys don't know, myself and Kellen are currently doing the On Fire podcast. You can find that on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and it's been a lot of fun. We actually just had our episode with Tom come out, and so that's one of my favorite ones, talking to Tom about his mini retirement and traveling, essentially traveling the world for almost 6 months. So super cool. He had all kinds of interesting travel hacks to share, and if you guys are interested in being a guest on the podcast, same as Jeff was, just DM Kellen on Instagram or Facebook. I prefer you bug him, and that way he'll schedule it all. These days I'm just trying to get everyone else to do my work for me. And yeah, so really excited by that. So definitely, if you got an interesting story, regardless of where you are on your fire journey, whether you are still buried in credit card debt or you've been retired for 10 years, it doesn't really matter. We kind of want to document and show that giant cross section of everyone on their fire journey. So just want to get that plug out of the way. And
I'd say copy Tom and travel the world.
Yeah, it definitely very interesting. But yes, definitely subscribe to that on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you watch, and give us a 5-star rating, as well as leave us a written review. It doesn't really matter what you say in the written review, but it really does help people find the podcast when you do that. So appreciate it, guys.
So yeah, in February, our good buddy Sean Allen's got a free real estate investor kind of meetup on the 20th on RIA in London at the Best Western Lamplighter Inn at 7 o'clock ish. So either hit me up for that or hit up Sean Allen on RIA, Ontario Real Estate Investors Association. And then on the 25th, we got the Weibel Limo in London, and it's our London one, but we will have we're trying to set up Kitchener for late March, and also one in Windsor. So we're going.
And so now you can actually reserve your seats. So just find it on Facebook, and you can pay for your seats in advance, and that way you're guaranteed your seat. Last few times we've been kind of maxing out capacity, so we're kind of.
It's not fair to the people that booked early, you know, and then you get the last minute people showing up at the office, trying to get on. So please prepay, that'd be great. And we're trying to, we got lots of private deals we're going to be showing. And if not, anyone in the comment section, I'm sure you've been on a Weibel limo before.
Yeah, it's a fantastic time. We can't guarantee you're going to see a waterfall in this one, but the last one we actually walked through a property where the owners had done a flip, and to save money, I'm assuming, or maybe just by accident, they turned off the heat. Turning off the heat in Canada is a terrible idea in the winter because your pipes are going to freeze, and when they freeze, they expand and pop the pipes, and then it thaws and water everywhere.
And all the first-time home buyers didn't buy, so.
Yeah.
But no, it was an amazing lesson. Like, go over, this is why you keep your heat on. I've heard people say, "Oh, I was gonna save the hydro cost, right?" Oh, now you got that. And so I've heard some people say no insurance will cover that. Some people said yes, their insurance will cover that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it probably really depends exactly on the narrative too, right? Whether you're saying it was an accident or on purpose.
Broke the pipe.
Yeah, I was talking on a really random. You guys want a random real estate story that I haven't shared with Jeff yet? So I met up with a new potential handyman yesterday, and he was telling me about his current living situation. And so he's living in a property that essentially he kicked 4 squatters out, and then started fixing up the unit. And I guess the landlord was in bad health, and it just wasn't around for like a little bit, and then came back, and the landlord didn't even know he was living there, and he spent his own. Anyway, craziest story ever. So one of the things that Jeff's kind of saying, or was joking about earlier, that squatters did, if you have vacant properties, you need to keep an eye on them because things can really get out of hand really fast. And I know that myself and Adam Steeper, who's usually our guy managing the comment section, randomly interesting, we have a property and it's been broken into multiple times while it's vacant, right?
I'm assuming you called your insurance company to let them know that's sitting vacant?
Yes, because it's a construction site.
For you
so
guys,
definitely you want to do
gotta
that.
call your insurance company.
And it'll cost you a tiny bit more per month, but it's worth it to have the appropriate coverage. I think again, that's one of those things where people are like, oh, I'm gonna save like $10 by turning the heat off, or I'm gonna save $10 by not telling my insurance company that this is an active job site, or that it's actively under construction, it's a remodel. And if something goes wrong, you're gonna find yourself
a
SOL.
waterfall,
right.
From the top to the bottom.
And what happens is when you have these vacant properties, people break in. And so we had someone break in and they tried to steal a bunch of copper, and so they took the copper right off from the main water line. And had we not already turned it off, because we were doing work on the project, again, we would have ended up with a flooded basement, not unlike what happened to the people with the frozen pipes. So just a little.
So that's the action on the Weibo limo. But we will have a lot of private deals for you guys to see. That's what we're kind of pushing towards.
We've been more and more specializing in that, and I think that it is really rewarding. Like last time, we walked through a ton of private deals and a couple just before they hit the MLS, and so.
There were some.
Yeah, I thought we'd tease this one.
Yeah, we walked through a couple, and some people didn't pull the trigger, or at least go tell all their friends about it. And the Weibo limo tour could have got it for, I'll tell you, like, say $240, okay? And the people, everybody kind of was slow on acting, and then it goes on the market for $229. Well, some people looked at it and thought, oh, there's a deal to be had there now. I can save the $10K. Well, it went for $265 in multiple offers. And if they would have privately offered, I swear to God, we would have got that for like $240. And it goes on the market right now. It's crazy. I just sold a two-bedroom bungalow for $323 in London. So you're living. You go to your kitchen, you go to your little living room, you go to your bedrooms, and you repeat, and that's all you got.
Yeah.
So it's like a condo, and like.
Yeah, it's not much. It's not a lot of house, to be honest, right? And that's sold like opening weekend, right?
Yeah, for the first weekend, right?
There for a second. Hopefully you guys are still hanging in there, Kitty. That was strange.
That was really strange.
So.
Well, I think the Wi-Fi might have flipped too.
Oh shit. Oh, do you mind jumping in the comments and just telling them that?
Yeah. Well, I'm not on that.
Oh, gotcha. It seems to think we're still live. You're probably just not on this.
Okay.
I think we're still live. Hopefully this is still on my 3G. We'll find out. Jump in the comments section.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, tell us in the comments right now.
It's searching. Maybe it's just like because it's a bad day out there.
Okay, yep. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny said we're still live, so that's good. Appreciate it. So Jeff's just got to get back on the internet.
Well, you're on 3G. So
see what happens when Adam's not here to babysit us? We lose the power.
Who's sabotaging us?
Right?
So you're just at a property and there's a raccoon like in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in the yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe somebody's chewing on the wires or whatever. So says I'm back.
All right. Cool. So otherwise, Jeff's been doing daily videos. If you guys aren't subscribed to Jeff, definitely jump over. Jeff's really been stepping up his game, and actually
good one coming out at 6 today.
Yeah.
So after this, go look at it.
Yeah, jump over and watch that. Otherwise, I was gonna say there's a couple episodes that you've already released with Matt and Cassie. Matt and Cassie are from Windsor. You guys are definitely gonna see a lot more of them on both of our YouTube channels as well. They're going to be launching their YouTube channel next Monday and doing videos every other day for the foreseeable future. So we're really excited to be bringing you that as well. Essentially what we're trying to do here is we're going to create more, I think mini us's would be the best term. We just want to have a bunch of different people in Southwestern Ontario or across all of Ontario for that matter, producing content related to real estate. So if you're interested in even doing like a little mini series, like if you're a contractor, an electrician, a plumber, a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, insurance person, essentially if you're anywhere in the real estate realm, we'd be interested in doing a little mini series on you and putting it on a new channel that we're going to be launching next week. So look out for the Ontario, actually I'm not going to say it yet because I'm not sure if we have it.
Don't steal it.
Don't steal that on us, please. But yeah.
Let's see, we also, well, it's already, February the 9th today?
Yeah.
So on the 3rd of March, we will be in Toronto. So remember, that's the RAIN Acre meeting, Real Estate Investment Network, Acre, Authentic Canadian Real Estate event.
Sounds true.
Something. Acronyms. Matt and I will be there from the Friday night. We'll do the Cashflow to Go show probably from like the Hilton Hotel, which is like a little airport hotel beside the convention center. We'll do it there. We'll go to the Friday night, so if any of you guys are there, you'll see us. And then the Saturday night after the Acre, we will just be at the lounge bar kind of stuff.
For another
hosting the meeting. And the best part is all the Rain members that are just having a drink at the bar will probably just like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're having our Cashflow meetup.
Yeah, so it'll be a fantastic opportunity to network, particularly if you're interested in networking with a diverse range of real estate investors, because Acre brings real estate investors from all across Canada.
They're like the Ottawa crew will be there, the Windsor crew will come up. It's going to be everybody. So.
And so you'll definitely see us there as well. Matt Pichet is going to be there, the fruitful investor, so you can look forward to meeting him as well, both at Rain's Acre as well as at our meetup. So that should be awesome. Mitt CPA will also be there. You guys have probably seen Mitt a few times in the comments section.
Yeah, all your accounting, send it over to Mitt right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hit him up in the DMs on Instagram instead of hitting mine up about your tax questions. So yeah, otherwise, I don't know. Do you want to talk more about your week, Jeff, or should we see if we can get into some comments, or are you on
I feel very entrepreneurial this week. I don't even know what I did the other day, so like. Blends. You know, you're like, is that today or yesterday? So,
so one thing, so I guess maybe just chatting with you guys a little bit further. Recently, you probably saw I released, I think it was part 3 or part 4 of my wholesaling real estate series. I've been working hard on trying to generate some more wholesale real estate leads, simply because the market is so tight right now in London, Ontario. There's just nothing available for inventory on the MLS. I check it every day, and every day there's like 1 or 2 new properties, and that's it. And they're all overpriced, in my opinion.
There was like 16 offers the other day on something.
Yeah, I can't even remember what that was, but it's getting
even
so
like a condo that Nikki Calford was telling me about had 4 offers, like, and it's a nothing condo. Like.
Yeah, and so like it makes me really wonder what it's going to be like come the spring. So I'm expecting it's going to be very difficult to get good multifamily real estate deals.
I'm doing the open house, and okay, real estate agents are usually sitting there. I have other things to do, which I'll always promote, but you know, you don't expect at 2 o'clock, like the freaking cars are arriving and like they're coming out. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, there's like 10 shoes at the door at like 2 o'clock. Like, there's nothing for London to buy right now.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. It's so, and so that's why I've been working really hard on the wholesale real estate side. We've been grinding really hard. Actually, about to do a new letter campaign this weekend, so looking forward to that. Hiring a couple of Sharon's grandsons actually are going to go door to door handing out flyers. So we'll see how that turns out. Otherwise, I guess we walked through. I think we can kind of tease it. If you're looking for a high-end real estate in London, Ontario, we walked through a pocket listings of Jeff's at 2.5 million. So that was.
It took a while to walk through.
It was fascinating. Found out what a scullery was. Never been to a scullery before. It was a fantastic scullery. I really liked all the stainless steel. Yeah. That was slick.
That he made.
Yeah, all custom made cabinets.
A huge garage with
massive,
you can wash your car. 2 hoses.
Wood workshop.
A
greenhouse.
Was it acre and a half?
Acre and a half, yeah. Right in the city limits, which was pretty cool. Very close to the highways too, actually, which is nice.
So if anyone's looking for a good mansion, let me know.
Yeah.
All I can remember is that one,
like, true. Yeah. There was just like those fancy light bulbs or whatever. Like I don't even know what they were. And there's just like a lot of it, like down the one hallway. That was just crazy.
I know. Like when I saw that hallway, I was like, you could do laps in this thing. Like, just run.
Yeah. And so that was really cool. I've never been exposed to something like that in London, Ontario before.
You don't even know. We won't say where it is, but like you won't even know.
Yeah.
Driving past. You drive past it like every day. Most people would, right? So.
Otherwise, just kind of talking more about the wholesale and real estate thing, because I've been trying to work harder on it, I've been trying to get more methodical in my approach with it, I guess, would be the best way to phrase it. And so I've been like recontacting a lot of people that are in my social circle that they know I want real estate deals, but it's maybe been a while since I reached out to them. Or maybe it's been a while since I reminded them that I'm willing to pay like a $500 to $1,000 referral fee, which I'll give you guys a heads up too, that we're willing to pay a referral fee if we buy the property. But so anyways, I touched base with someone that regularly does work with me. I would have thought, like, I've paid her referral fees before, and just kind of reminded her, and all of a sudden it sparked a conversation with the landlord here in London. And actually, we didn't talk about it, but this guy owns that one property on Adelaide we saw a really long time ago. Remember, like, it was one of the worst properties we ever
You
bought.
teased it,
Yeah.
to me.
So yeah, and so anyways, this guy ends
Do you
up.
like black mold?
Yeah,
Do you like living
we
in
got
it?
that. But this guy has multiple properties that it sounds like he's going to be interested in selling. So just kind of a reminder to all you guys out there that are looking for private deals. You just got to make sure everyone is aware of what you're trying to do, and don't wait to remind them, because people forget, or they're like, oh, like maybe that was 3 months ago he was looking for a deal, but now he probably doesn't want it anymore. No, I always want the deals. And we always got people that want the deals too, right?
We got a pretty good list.
The deal's the hardest part, I think, of the people, money, deal formula, right? So if you got the deal, the money will come to you. And yeah, so looks like
So
we're
we
going to
got
be able to get back in the comment section.
Finally, this internet.
So
17 watching.
all right, well, appreciate that, guys. Smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, let's what's going on in the comments, Jeff?
Let's check.
So yeah, so feel free to jump in, ask your questions for us on the Cashflow Go
Kellen
show.
has to. Oh no, Jonas has to go to work. Sorry.
All right, well, appreciate you, Jonas. We know you've been on frequently.
Well, On Fire Podcast is posted in here.
Oh, nice. So yeah, definitely jump over. You can also watch the On Fire podcast on YouTube.
Thanks for
as
sticking
well.
around with the
Yeah,
weather blips of the internet here.
I'm so done with winter. I'm
Stefan's at the Montreal airport. Like
always, yeah.
That's awesome. Does the wholesaling Facebook group discuss techniques?
Yeah, so we don't currently, but we want to start. So yeah, we're definitely going to be sharing our tips and tricks, as well as looking for you guys to share your tips and tricks. So definitely hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, join that group, and I'll add you to that group, and we can share our techniques, tips, and tricks. Because yeah, we need to sharpen our skills too, because this is getting to become more and more competitive. I can remember 2-3 years ago when you go on Kijiji in the real estate section, there maybe be 1-2 people tops posting, I buy properties cash, fast close. I was one of them, and so there was only like, I think it was maybe Elliot, and then there was one guy from Toronto that was doing it. Whereas now, like half the ads, it feels like, in the real estate section are some version of, I'm looking to buy a house, I pay fast, cash closings, any condition, any size, or any condition, any price, any time, like sort of deals. And it's crazy to me how competitive it's getting. So we definitely need to constantly be upgrading our skill set.
We got not great quality, so I don't know.
Sorry,
3G?
it's probably still on the 3G.
Yeah.
My bad, guys.
Okay, it's a voice one.
Yeah.
You can hear us, but nobody's really asked. But like, Ontario's coming out with a new lease.
Oh yeah, actually that's a great point. So Kellen shared it on one of the Facebook groups I manage, and so essentially we're just gonna have to use this formatting of a lease. But the nice thing is we can still add like a Schedule A or B to try and cover some things that may not be involved in that lease. I actually haven't even checked it out yet.
I read it. I think it educates the tenant more than
thoroughly.
the other ones.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Which is fine. I think where the problem is, I think we're few, the landlords. They are many,
Yes.
and it feels like they are always protected. So then we're kind of screwed when they're taking advantage of us. That's if nobody's taking advantage and we're just playing the rules, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, like if everyone's just getting along with each other, you almost don't even need a contract, right? It's really just when friction.
So it covers smoking now. Like you can click no or designated areas.
Oh, okay.
But then does it go back to the layout tenancy? And
I still don't think you can enforce it. So it's like one of those like
so
stickler
that
things.
happened. There's something about occupancy. Like I know, like I think Matt Geertz commented on Facebook. You could never charge extra for occupancy, but on the London Property Management Association leases, you would always write the rent and then $100 for one more person, right? Like the boyfriend or girlfriend starts moving in, you don't want the 3-bedroom house to turn into a 6-person apartment, right? Or more. And there's nothing on there for that at the moment. So that's interesting. I know when we, hopefully it's still on. Okay. I know when we go to Rain, Don Campbell will be talking about it to everybody. So
and especially because it's
April
effective
30th.
Okay,
so
I was
we'll have
gonna say,
time.
May 1st.
But like you were saying, it is what it is. There's nothing that at our low level we can do about it.
No.
So.
But like what you can do is definitely join organizations like it's LPMA in London, the London Property Management Association. So what they do is they kind of will lobby on behalf of all landlords because most of the time, most of us landlords do have similar priorities, and so what's good for one landlord is usually good for all landlords. So definitely consider joining organizations like that. And if your local community or municipality doesn't have one, you should definitely look at starting it because it is valuable to try and, like Jeff said, there's very few of us. So at least when we can kind of congregate and make our voices heard as one, it's a little bit louder than a bunch of us shouting individually. So definitely recommend you join things like LPMA or whatever your version is in your city.
So Stefan, probably sitting in the Montreal airport, says smokers aren't a protected class. You can discriminate against them in Newfoundland with no issues. Or Newfoundland.
Good to know.
So, yeah, sometimes we just feel like in Ontario it's always against us, right?
Yeah, it's definitely very renter oriented the way a lot of the rules are made. It is what it is, right? Like we have a few options, right? You can either like keep banging your head against that wall until either the wall gives or your head gives. I think usually it's going to be you that give, or we can just adapt to it, right? And so, if it becomes more and more difficult to be a landlord, and it becomes less and less profitable to be a landlord, just fewer of us will choose to be landlords, which will eventually drive up rent prices, right? I don't know.
Or we start looking out of province.
Yeah, right, and you just adapt that way, right? I forget which it was, but there was one economist that said money only respects people that respect it, and I highly agree with it. So,
so Johnny Morris asks, can you talk about your favorite systems you have in place? I am new in making the transfer to the business side of things, so maybe it's going from job. I want to start strong and cover myself and be efficient. Thanks.
Okay.
So like, I guess our routine, how we scale maybe.
Yeah, so I guess like starting off with like one of the processes that I think I have refined decently is my process of like buying properties. So I've done a video on it called like analyzing a property. I did it like way back, so you have to dig really deep in the archives, but it's like 20 or 30 minutes long. But essentially what I'll do is with my acquisition process, you get the address, then you request the geo warehouse from your realtor, which is going to at least give you an idea of kind of the price, right, that the previous owner acquired it for. And usually that's going to be kind of a mental barrier for a lot of sellers to sell it for less than that. Otherwise, then hit up the London, Ontario website from the city and look up the zoning. You can often find if there's any current infractions against it or any red flags against it. You can also look up and see if there's a rental license. I also like
basically your system's like to do your due diligence.
Yeah, and so but I kind of have a checklist, right? That I go through.
So if he's not talking real estate and he's just talking business, it's checklists, in general.
Yeah, so it's systematize everything you can, right? You want to just make it as foolproof as possible.
You've been really good in the last, call it 60, 90 days of not spending your energy and time on the wrong things. And like how even earlier, he's like, DM Jeff for the group.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that, right? Because even today, the phone's ringing for me and I want to do something different. And I think early on in business, you get dragged to the wrong things a lot. And the better you get, you can cut it out right away.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want your attention all day long. It could be a tenant, it could be another deal.
Yeah.
It could be advice. Everybody wants that 10-minute coffee with you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I guess one of the other systems I've been using to try and save time is making people meet me rather than me meeting people.
On the fly,
so like people either, the only way you're usually going to meet with me now is via phone or at my house, right? And so that way I don't waste time commuting a bunch of different places. I don't waste time if people don't show up or they show up late. That way I still kind of have my command center. And so if you were operating out of an office or a business location, I'd make everyone meet me there. Whether like outside of my lawyer and bankers, everyone meets me.
So he was talking about real estate because he's writing it down frantically. But I said that you got your videos. What I've been trying to do more, today wasn't great, but get up earlier because it just seems like the calm before the storm.
I'm sure you know once 9 a.m. hits, 8:30, everybody's already asking for something, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I think I've slowly been getting better at not having those issues where I'm getting better at delegating. I think the key when it comes to delegating is just as clear of communication as possible, and again, systematize things as much as possible. So like create checklists, create processes. It's tedious at first, but you'll never regret.
And if you go back to like real estate, you're not emotionally buying a house now. You're just going through your checklist.
Yeah, and it makes negotiation a lot easier as well, right?
Facts.
You know where your sticking points are.
Yeah.
You know, you may give or take by 5%, but otherwise you're going to stick to your guns, and there's nothing that's really going to convince you otherwise, because you are cold and detached. And so I guess actually a good example would be, I guess it was last week or this week that we walked through that one potential flip property that they were asking 260, right, and it sold for 305 firm. And so our buddy Sean Allen was walking through with us, and he was looking at offering on it. He ended up offering on it, but you know, he offered below
with his checklist.
Yeah, he offered like below what ended up being the winning bid because he had his processes, right? He knows how much it's going to cost him to renovate that size of property, and kind of the different carrying costs he's going to incur, as well as like the cost, the overhead related to like the real estate agent's cuts and all that.
Well, and plus he does this many a year, and the winning offer, maybe they're a fly-by-night.
Yeah, or they could be like, you know, a DIYer that's not going to value their time at all, where Sean has to pay his crew of guys, so he knows that that's a cost that's inflexible.
Yeah, if you look at Sean Allen's hands, he's never swung a hammer in his life.
He doesn't watch the show.
No. Well, he's commented at least a couple times, but otherwise, yeah.
He doesn't come on the Why the Limo.
No. Well, because he'd have to wear pants.
Yeah. The only guy wearing flip-flops through a flip.
Yeah.
That's why he does it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that a lot of us, when we start out being an entrepreneur or a real estate investor, we can get really focused on day-to-day tasks rather than kind of documenting the day-to-day processes. And so what I definitely found with myself is I think a lot of us are highly motivated individuals if we end up becoming real estate investors or grinders or having side hustles or whatever, but that also means like we're usually pretty clever and hardworking, and you can get yourself out of most situations when you're clever and hardworking. But what happens is the situations just keep piling up, and so you end up just not even having enough time to go be clever or hardworking on those situations. So as you continue to scale, eventually catches up to you. So that's why documenting your processes and having the strategies laid out from the beginning is just so important. So just systematize everything.
Triggs 13. Opinions on capital cost allowancing.
So this is just like, should we be taking amortization, I'm assuming. It really depends on what your long-term goals are, as well as how long you kind of plan to hold the property, what income tax bracket you're in today versus what income tax bracket you think you're going to be in the future when you dispose of that asset, as well as
how aggressive you are.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I guess to like
repair versus capital.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're asking that, so there's really kind of two things, right? Some people will be tempted to be more aggressive with their expenses, and they'll take things that maybe are capital costs, or maybe they're repair and maintenance, and they'll choose to do the R&M versus the capitalization of it. But another thing is, some people just don't even want to take amortization at all on their properties because they don't want to get the recapture later down the road. I think the best thing to do is really just kind of map out what your long-term plans are, and then you can kind of start trying to reverse engineer it from there. I don't think that there's a blanket answer that works perfectly for everyone. There's certain properties where I take CCA, certain properties where I don't. Again, it does depend on the income that you're currently making, right? What tax bracket are you in? A lot of us that are BRRRR investors, we're not going to be hit with any capital gains related to flips because there's no deemed disposition when you're simply burning it or flipping it to yourself. So
then he says, do you guys use CCA?
So I do on some of my more profitable properties. So my student rentals, I take amortization on. I'm not sure, what do you do, Jeff? So do you
like
depreciate do you take amortization? So you know, like when you buy a property, usually about 70 to 80% of the property is going to be allocated to the value of the building. The other 20 to 30 is allocated to the value of the land. And so you can technically write off the cost of the building. It usually depends on
the mortgage. Is when you choose that?
No. So this is different. So this is just like a tax decision.
Oh, I don't know. I have to. We'll see what Mitt does this year.
Yeah. So as you can tell, Jeff doesn't file his own taxes.
Yeah. No.
So I'm guessing that his accountant probably just optimizes it for his own situation. I wouldn't be surprised if you're taking CCA on St. George, but probably not on William. And so other factors to consider are if you're owner occupying a portion or all of that rental property, or if you plan to at certain periods of time, because as we know in Canada, capital gains aren't taxable on your principal residence. So there's certain implications there too. So let's say you're living in a property and you're renting out like a third of it. Some people will approach taking CCA differently on a owner-occupied property versus non-owner-occupied property. So just another thing to consider.
Tim had asked one about if we're friends with our JV partners first or become JV partner or friends after because they're your partners. I kind of answered him that for me it was friends first. I think most of yours have been friends first.
Yeah. But
it could also change in the future.
Yeah,
if the right opportunity came around.
And so I think that whether through luck or being aware of the 5 people we spend the most time with, a lot of our friends are very rational, logical individuals, or at least they are when it comes to business.
And when you're newer and starting doing it, it's a lot easier to do it with somebody that trusts you and you're probably buddies. Could be your parents, could be something like that, right? That it's kind of hard to convince hi stranger invest with me when I'm brand new.
Yeah, for sure.
Tough, right?
And that's not to say that any friend makes for a good partner though, right? Like I'm sure we both have friends that would make for terrible.
How's the money doing?
Right. Yeah, and so like we joke that like borrowing money from like our parents is something that would be unpalatable for us simply because they'd be way too risk adverse. And so they're just going to be pestering you nonstop about what's going on with the project, where's their money, why don't they have their money, like that sort of hassle. So so I definitely did use friends first. So the very first money partners I had, I'm a CPA by trade. My first money partner, Dave, was also a CPA. So we worked in the same office. We actually lived together, and we bought our first rental property together. And so we were very similar orientation towards risk, as well as kind of what we were trying to accomplish with our real estate. So I think one of the biggest stumbling blocks that people can get into is they're not thinking long term about their partnership, right? Like, are you getting into this partnership? Are you guys only going to own this one property, or are you building an empire together? Does your partner want to own this property for the next 20 years in cash flow, or are they hoping to make a quick appreciation and then sell out in 5 years? Because that can really impact whether they're a good partner for you. So someone that may not be a good partner for me and vice versa. All right. Well, keep smashing that like button if you guys are enjoying
14 this. Sticking around with the probably okay audio, but not very good picture.
Well, we appreciate those of you that are watching. It really does mean a lot to us that you spend your Friday nights with us. And
they probably all went and watched my video that hit.
Hopefully.
Why did we put it during the show? It's that West Coast.
Yeah. But if you guys are enjoying this, but if Fridays are a difficult time, if you're not watching this live, jump into the comment section afterwards and give us suggestions if you think we should mix it up and try it on a Wednesday night or
we're
later.
We're thinking like on a beach somewhere, because of this,
Yeah, I'm down. What happened to Havana? I thought we were going to go to Havana.
I might be going to have dinner with him, so I'll bring it up again.
Yeah.
That's next weekend with the limo tour. Shit. There you go. You're not monetized now.
Yeah.
You got some positive comments from what we're doing. So.
Well, appreciate it, guys.
G1 Mercury.
Awesome. I think that's a new name to me. I appreciate that. Appreciate you commenting. Otherwise, I know the other day I was watching Peter the Hungarian Experiment was doing some live streams, and he just got $100 in gift cards from Pizza Hut. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Pizza Hut sent him a hoodie and track pants as well. So they wanted to do another eating challenge. So like 2-3 years ago, I think, maybe even 4 years ago, it might have been one of his first videos. Peter ate, I think, 4 medium Pizza Hut pizzas in one sitting. as like a 10,000 calorie challenge or something, and so they want him to do that again. So also, I'm not sure if you're interested. I think we're going to try and recreate it sometime if you want to gorge on pizza.
Okay. Actually,
Your
do you
reaction
know
was
that
awesome.
I'm fasted right now since Wednesday night?
Oh shit! No, I had no idea.
And I would have just gone to bed today, but I've been invited out for dinner. But could have done those 60 hours, like no problem.
Oh,
I
shit.
just went to bed tonight. I was a little
Did
hungry.
it just kinda naturally
I
happen,
was
or-
too busy yesterday working, and then I just didn't eat today yet. So
Interesting. I've actually kind of like I haven't been doing this like my 48-hour fast as frequently. I've been kind of like every other week just because
I'd be
like,
at 48. Right now.
life's been so situational, I
Yeah.
guess. Like it's just been like because we're on the road a bunch and you're like, I'm at a restaurant
Yeah,
anyways, I might as well eat.
Oh, and Sam's getting us a better place for Kitchener next time.
Oh sweet.
With a Scotch bar. We're private. We have to actually spend money, not just water. So,
Sparkling
We'll
water
just
for
eat
this
our
guy.
dinner with
Yeah.
the group next time. Interestingly, here Kellen asks, how do you find the right balance spending your time on branding/marketing for the long term versus spending time earning money today? Good question.
Yeah. I think that is a really good question. I think it's tough to answer, to be honest.
Because I think we're like right in the middle of it right now.
Yeah, but like I think we're definitely compared to the average person, we're doubling down harder on the long-term branding, right? That's why we're doing daily videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
For
And I was asked a
free.
question on the I hired an assistant video on my YouTube, like when did you know it was good to hire an assistant? Like did you get to a level? And you've been pushing me for a while, and guys, I didn't feel like I was ready, and I wrote him back like I didn't, but I did it to make sure that I was getting bigger and talk about it like putting yourself behind the 8 ball a bit. It makes me figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll be screwed if I don't figure it out. So that is like I don't know what the future will hold, but I just know it'll be bigger, right?
So like circling back to the social media thing, I think far too often we think we need the perfect execution rather than planting the flag. I think there's so much more value in being there first than there is in doing it perfectly. You can be there first and then become perfect rather than waiting to become perfect and then doing it. And so at least I hope that that's the right approach.
Well, because you're always sitting on the sideline then.
Yeah, and you need those little micro wins. You need that feedback loop, or otherwise you're never going to take action. And so the only way it happens is by putting yourself out there, by doing it. I think that you also have to factor in what your long-term plans are, right? We plan on building, I think, an empire, right? So we really need to be focused on that long-term time horizon. If you're literally focused more on, say, the Matt Pichet version of $10,000 or $20,000 a month in passive income, and that's it, and you know for sure you're going to tap out after that, I think that focusing on the short-term wins probably makes more sense. You can build yourself up to that $10,000 or $20,000 passive income without necessarily having to be a media giant or media star.
And we teased it last week, but we're gonna be doing that our conference in May, June. So are we prepared?
No. We're going to book a venue next week.
That's what we like doing, guys. We'll just put stuff in the future and we're like, oh shit, I gotta do a Weibo limo tour this weekend, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how we always did it. We're better at it now, but in like the first one, second one, third one, we didn't know what we were doing. We just did it, and
I think just like commit to shit and create habits and routines, right? So in February, I've been doubling down on Instagram, which actually after this we need to like take a selfie together because I haven't posted yet today, but I've been posting every day on Instagram, and like you slowly it just trickles in, right? And like I think you really got to focus on the Gary Vee advice of document, don't create. Trying to create the perfect thing takes forever. Documenting what you're doing
it's
is
the beauty of like in the now, right? I was driving home with Michael today, our now assistant business partner, cameraman, and I was saying, you know, a long time ago, if you're going on a trip, you would come home and then they'd have like slideshows, right? And you have to go sit at somebody's house and watch about Italy or something like that. Now, fast forward later on, it was like Facebook pictures in a group, like Cancun 06, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't really see that much anymore. Why? Because everybody's taking the photo in the now of like their event, right?
Yeah.
And when I went to Japan, I documented the whole trip, and when I got back, everybody didn't say how was your trip. They said, "Oh my god, your trip looked amazing," right? Because like they were already like there with me. So like you're definitely just
documenting it. I wasn't like building a giant thing and coming home and editing it. And
yeah.
It was just like going.
And I think, again, the value in documenting versus creating is just your barrier to entry so much lower, right? It's so much easier just like
with
snap
like
out quick photos.
Stuff like Snapchat and Instagram stories, it's gone in 24 hours. If I do a bad story, no one remembers.
Well, and same with like, even if you do an Instagram post, you can archive it.
It.
So I think
sometimes you have 10,000 subscribers and you only have 100 posts.
Yeah.
Because you archive it.
Yeah, and like I've archived a bunch of my stuff, and like I'm posting daily photos now on Instagram. I'm probably not like a month later I'm gonna look back and not like or need 90% of those, and so I'll just archive them. So I think that at the end of the day, though, there is value. Like me and Jeff have been talking about it. Attention is currency.
Absolutely, yeah. Like social currency we need, right?
Yeah.
Like, so Philip Robbins just wanted to know like how the Kitchener meetup was. Any interesting highlights? We just definitely reconnected with some good contacts, new people. We had talked about at the beginning of the show. He said he came in late.
But so like the Cole's Notes version was Sam was there, and so Sam's the guy that originally, like almost probably 2 years ago, we went on his bus tour, and that inspired the Weibo limo tour. So it was awesome seeing Sam and seeing what he was up to. We also saw Anne, and so Anne was on the very first bus tour with us, and she's like she calls herself the queen of cash flow, but I'd say she's also the queen of private deals. Or, well, she's the queen of like complicated deals. So she loves going after those strange properties that haven't sold for years potentially, and they've just been sitting there languishing on MLS or as private pocket listings. And she'll go and find some way to get vendor take back and do this, that, and the other, and buy that rooming house and operate it. So that was cool. We had Marco, who actually is in the process of building 2 spec duplexes in Waterloo, I think. So that was interesting. I think he's going to be at like 60.
What's really neat is we're talking to the camera here, you the YouTube, and then with guys like Marco and even in the Toronto meetup, and they're like, well, yeah, but you always say this, and it's like, oh yeah, I do, and like, I've never really met you. It's really, I don't know, humbling, weird.
It's cool.
Like we don't think we're celebrities or anything, but it's just kind of weird that people, I say, what you say, people are listening.
And also, then we also had Adam, who was owned some properties in Listowel, and kind of opened our eyes to that market. Listowel, I've done a few audits there, but it'd been a long time since I even thought about it, so it was neat to think about little towns like Listowel, Milverton, Mitchell.
Tim Martins.
They got like a Krabby Joe's. They got
I'll quickly just fire some off. Trisha McDonald, she's been commenting on a lot of my videos as well. She says, congrats on your 6,000
Thanks.
subs.
And so actually, just in case you don't know, that's usually Gary. So thanks, Gary.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And Kellen says, do you guys have any properties that you are considering using for short-term rentals like Airbnb? Like you're talking like not Mill Street?
Yeah. So like I assume the reason Kellen's asking this is because he's about to quit his job and start Airbnb in Mill Street.
Because everybody on the internet.
Now you want to manage our Airbnbs
you can do William Street, Kellen. You can. I will furnish that thing. You can get in there. You can clean it. I will give you a reasonable $15 to clean.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give you.
Make it 10.
The 14 units on Dundas you can run as a boutique Airbnb.
Yeah. Just post that all over Europe.
Get rid of that Joe. And we'll hook it up.
And I think everybody. Oh, and Gary says thanks for remembering. So, and everybody on the internet's been like bugging Kellen to do Mill Street. So
and so if you're not
scared, right? He's scared of like not putting himself behind that 8 ball. I feel sorry for the guy. Like he should just like leap out.
Well, he just needs to watch Swingers, and then he'll know he's money. But so what we're joking about is we've created a new Facebook group oriented towards Airbnb investors. Yeah. So DM myself or Jeff on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll add you to the group, and you can share in the experiences, and you can also aid Kellen on quitting his job.
Yeah. And my brother does it. You know, I got Candace in town as well. So like a lot of people that know how to run it. So
yeah, and it's a very interesting business model.
And it's actually the group's Ontario, right?
Yeah, it's Ontario wide. So yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah, everyone's
if you're from Saskatchewan, stay up. Just kidding. We'll make one out there for you.
Yeah.
So, Kellen just says he'll put framed photos of my hair on the walls.
Oh, the Jeff Weibo hair room.
Oh God.
Or no, let's do like an escape room where all you have is hair products and you have to like you're trying to get the right ratio of gel and mousse into the hair.
The London crew, let's do an escape room.
Yeah. Together or own one? Or
like,
both?
The London real estate network of people.
Yeah,
let's go out. Let's go. I think you can only put like 6 people in one or something, but you can do like 2 rooms, and then whoever gets out first.
Yeah, let's do it.
We all think we're smart. We should be able to escape a room.
Yeah, I think.
Meanwhile, we'll be like, oh, my phone's in the locker.
Yeah, no, I think I'm smart, and yet I've never got out of an escape room without clues.
I've been close, and then no, you think you're close, and you're like, how close was I? Like, you're at 65%.
Because usually there's somebody that's just not trying.
Yeah, maybe.
And you're just like, come on, do something.
Yeah, that's true. There is usually one person
that just sits on the floor and gives up, and you're like, all right, actually, a lot of things are popping up here. Do you think Airbnb will be good in Windsor?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Particularly because you have a casino, and also I think one thing that gets overlooked is short-term stays related to post-secondary institutions. So you have the University of Windsor there. I'm sure there's lots of people that come back for short periods of time to do their doctorate or their thesis or whatever the case is, or maybe they're just doing their master's and they're just in town for a month, or it's some sort of brief period of study. Because I know that in London there's all sorts of demand because of the University of Western Ontario.
I think any of the major cities are going to have.
Yeah, I think if you got major hospitals, major post-secondary institutions, or any sort of tourist attraction, it's a great idea.
Remember Adam saying Stratford?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think Stratford would be a fascinating market to do Airbnbs. I'm sure they'll be one of the cities first to try and ban it, because Stratford's a huge NIMBYism town, like not in my backyard, but...
You gotta have a scavenger hunt to find the Airbnb keys, so that nobody knows it's that apartment.
Yeah.
And it's like speakeasy, because like some of them do that. Like you drop them off at a coffee shop.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not like in a condo lobby.
Oh, makes sense.
And being like, I'm here from Germany.
Yeah. Just coming in with your 2 cases of beer.
Yeah. What can you ask a tenant? Like, I guess when you're interviewing them, pretty much.
I think the best idea is just to get the tenant talking.
Yeah.
But you got some great tips.
Oh yeah, I like. So he's asking like, can you ask how much money do they make? So I think the question is more like what like the human kind of rights of it. All of my questions are usually open ended, and.
But so like for example, I know Jeff talks about instead of asking do you have pets, you'll ask what type of pets do you have. Yeah. And so you just frame the question slightly differently, and it just allows them to start chatting, and they're going to be less guarded, I think, right? They just open up more.
And again, it's a feeling. If they're not answering your questions, or I guess if you feel afraid of asking them how much they make, but you're asking them like where they work, and they're like, what does it matter? Like that's starting off bad already, right?
So like instead, maybe alternatively, you can ask what do you currently pay in rent, or what's your current place cost? And then if it's a huge difference, you can maybe try and suss out why they're upgrading or why they're willing to pay so much more now for your place.
Now, can you legally ask the state screen cap? You can ask as much as they're going to give you, but can you?
Yeah, you can request, like, I guess it really depends on what you're trying to get, but like you can request like a reference from their employer, and you can contact their employer. I think though, again, like a lot of this stuff can be faked, right? Like a Photoshop, you can fake a pay stub pretty easy on Photoshop, and so at the end of the day, if someone really wants to try and fool you, they're going to. So I think that's where just getting them chatting and getting them with their guard down is more valuable. But I think that's my preference.
Yeah, I think it all starts at the application process, if you ask me, or at least how they are speaking to you. It'll eliminate a lot of headaches down the road.
Get them talking.
Hey, is it available? Like,
yeah,
they're looking at 20 apartments. You're not a winner.
Yeah, and like get them talking about their current landlord, right, or their past
landlords.
That one. So like if they started really trashing, if they've only ever had asshole landlords, there's a chance they've had a string of bad luck. But I'd say there's a much higher chance that they may be the asshole, or they're at least also an asshole.
Yeah. Just getting some Airbnb chitter chatter in here, and like, well, are we gonna do like a meetup for Airbnb?
Yes, we're going to do a meetup.
So we'll probably do like we're asking about Candace in here. Maybe she'll come up to the meetup.
Yeah.
And you can ask her all her questions. So, yeah, just some more Airbnb chatter. People saying they asked for pay stubs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I think I talked about it last week. I totally denied. In my head, I denied somebody like right away because they were just like too busy to talk to me. They didn't want to answer my questions very well. There's, smokers are not even trying to lie that they'll smoke outside. So I didn't want to pursue with them. So, and then if they're still on me, I will then say, okay, you got to fill an application before you do a showing. And most of these privileged tenants out here, they don't want to fill in an application. They want to see it first. Let me see it first.
Yeah.
Well,
And so I think one tip too is you're usually better off not telling the person why you've denied them the unit. Usually that's only going to be used against you. So I'd recommend you just essentially refuse to tell them. Just say that you went with a different applicant. Just we've gone with a different applicant, or your application's been denied.
We're still reviewing.
So like again, because usually whatever you say is just going to be used against you in this situation, particularly if they are upset that they weren't the ones chosen. So I would just kind of a little tip for you guys there, just be careful.
G1 Mercury says, do you charge an application fee to a prospective tenant? I've
heard some people do that.
Maybe in a hot market, maybe?
Yeah, and maybe if you deal with more higher end stuff and you just want to automatically limit some people.
Well, yeah, because right away you cut the fat right there. Right?
Yeah.
So same with the lower market. If they don't even fill the form out, then they weren't probably going to be a good person anyways.
Yeah. And same with like if they refuse to provide like last month's deposit or something like that, that's all we can really request here in Ontario. But if we were in a different market and we could collect a damage deposit and they refuse to provide that.
So we were joking on, we'll probably wrap up soon, but we were joking on Facebook, I don't know if you saw it all. So you can request a key deposit now, like in this new Ontario lease.
Oh yeah.
But it has to be at some kind of a market value of
hopefully $5 at least.
Yeah, but we joked saying we need a receipt for a $2,500 gold key.
Is that? I saw that joke and I wasn't paying enough attention.
So
gotcha.
A key deposit is not required, or the tenant will pay a refundable key deposit of blank to cover the cost of replacing keys, remote entry devices, or cards, blah blah blah. And then the note is the key deposit cannot be more than the expected replacement cost. See Part H, general information. So there's a lot of subjectional stuff, like well, my keys are master copy keys and they're $100 a piece. Like I don't know, like because then you've ruined my entire set now that security's breached. I don't know. Like what the Ontario doesn't really help you out on that one, right? So.
I think realistically they're looking for like $5, right? Like that's maybe.
So that's a waste of time, then, right?
Yeah.
Well, now I gotta go down and get the key cut, or have somebody do it. The key's gonna cost $3 to $4, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the time.
No, it's always the time and the hassle. And the potential damage a tenant may do to your property if they don't have a key, because then they'll try and break in through a window or a door or smash a glass pane or something.
I've seen that, yeah. And then somebody did it last night.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating thing, when the sequence of events just seems so suspicious.
By the way, I need a key.
So I got arrested last night, but someone also broke into our apartment.
Why is your arm bleeding?
Yeah, literally. Oh God, yeah. But anyways, we really appreciate you guys joining us for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it enough to smash that like button. If you haven't, now would be a great time to do so. Otherwise, check out the On Fire podcast. So that's the podcast myself and Kellen do. You can find it on all the major podcast playing apps. As well, if you're interested in being a guest like Jeff Weibel was, DM Kellen on Instagram or Facebook and we'll set up a time. We can ideally do it in person, but we can even do it via Skype if you're not in the London, Ontario area. Otherwise, me and Jeff are both doing daily YouTube videos, so we'd love to get Jeff up to 1,000 subscribers sooner than later, just so we can kind of
just posted a good one right now with Kelly, so after you close the live stream, go check out my video with Kelly there.
Yeah, and Kelly's story is actually amazing.
And it's going to be a series, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a 7-part
series, and today is the first episode. Boom.
So yeah, definitely check that out. I think it's going to be awesome as well. Yeah, I guess that's probably as good as anything. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money out there for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.